Have you ever felt as if something greater than your own understanding has been quietly preparing a turning point in your life, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal itself to you? That question is the doorway, the subtle pull that invites the spirit to lean in and listen beyond the noise. Because what you are about to hear carries the kind of spiritual depth that does not simply inform the mind, it awakens the soul. This message arrives like a soft light at the end of a long corridor, calling you forward with a promise that is ancient, sacred, and deeply personal. It speaks to the part of you that has endured every storm and still believes in the possibility of miracles. And if you stay with me until the end, each revelation will unfold with the clarity of a divine whisper, guiding you toward truths that have been waiting to rise within you. Pisces, dreamer of the waters and keeper of invisible worlds, you have always walked between the seen and the unseen, between this physical realm and the realm that breathes through silence, intuition, and spiritual memory. You carry within you the wisdom of centuries, not written in books, but etched into the language of your emotions, your compassion, and the quiet courage that lives in your heart. This opening message is more than words. It is an invitation to recognize how deeply God has been shaping your path, even in the seasons when you thought you were lost. There is something extraordinary approaching, and it is not arriving by chance. It is arriving because your spirit has earned it through every moment of growth, sacrifice, and inner strength. Before the blessings unfold, feel this truth. You are not here by accident. You were guided to this message because something inside you is ready to receive clarity, ready to receive healing, ready to receive divine direction. And as you listen, allow your heart to remember that God never abandons the souls who feel deeply. If anything, they become the ones chosen for moments of profound revelation. This is why the energy that surrounds you now feels different, almost like the air shifts when you take a breath, almost like your intuition has started to whisper louder than before. Tonight, let this be the moment you give yourself permission to believe again, to believe that the long season of carrying emotional weight is coming to its end, to believe that every unseen effort, every silent prayer, every tear that fell without a witness has been acknowledged by a force much greater than fate. The world around you may rush, push, or demand, but the world within you knows something sacred is approaching. It is the feeling of a door unlocking, the sense that divine timing is aligning, the awareness that you have stepped into a chapter where your spirit will no longer settle for less than what it deserves. So allow yourself to breathe deeply and fully. Let the sound of these words guide you like a soft current, gentle yet powerful, moving you closer to the truth of who you are. A being of intuition, imagination, and spiritual depth. A soul that feels the invisible and understands life through emotion rather than logic. God has placed a spiritual light over your journey, and the opening of this message is simply the first glimmer of that illumination. The blessings ahead are not distant. They are already on their way to you, woven into the fabric of your next steps, waiting for you to recognize them. Before we continue, leave a comment of self-affirmation, something that claims your worth and your readiness, such as, "I am open to divine blessings." Blessing 1. The clearing of emotional waters. There is something sacred about the way Pisces feels the world. You do not just experience emotions, you swim through them, breathe through them, and sometimes even drown in them without realizing you have gone too deep. That is why this first blessing comes with such tenderness, such divine intention. God is releasing the emotional fog that has blurred your inner sight for so long. It is as if the waters around your soul are finally beginning to settle after what felt like an endless storm. You may not have noticed it at first, but the heaviness that once lived inside your chest is loosening its grip. The confusion that once made you question your path is fading like mist at dawn. This blessing is the gentle lifting of the emotional weight you were never meant to carry forever. Think for a moment about how many hearts you have healed, how many burdens you have absorbed, how many times you took on emotions that did not belong to you simply because you felt someone needed to be understood. Pisces has always been the quiet reservoir where others come to release their pain. But God is saying enough. You are no longer here to serve as the emotional storage of the world. This blessing encourages you to return to yourself with compassion and strength. It is the moment when your spirit begins to recognize the difference between empathy and self-sacrifice. You are learning that love does not require suffering, and compassion does not require exhaustion. You may feel a shift inside you, subtle yet powerful. It might appear through sudden clarity, moments where you understand your emotions with unusual sharpness. It might show up as a desire for peace, not the temporary kind, but the kind that comes from truly letting go. And let us be honest, Pisces, letting go has never been easy for you. You hold memories the way water holds reflections. You hold people the way oceans hold shipwrecks. But this blessing is teaching you to release without losing yourself. God is clearing the waters so you can finally see your own reflection again, pure and unburdened. You may even feel a new strength rising within you, a spiritual steadiness that surprises you. Where you once felt overwhelmed, now you feel centered. Where you once carried emotional confusion, now you sense deeper truth. This blessing is not only about emotional cleansing, it is about emotional awakening. It is the beginning of a new relationship with yourself, one built on clarity rather than chaos, on self-respect rather than self-sacrifice. You are stepping into a version of yourself that understands how powerful your inner world truly is, and how important it is to protect that world with intention. This divine clearing is God's way of preparing you for everything that is coming. There are blessings that cannot enter a heart that is too full of old wounds and borrowed feelings. By allowing these waters to purify, you are making space for new joy, new clarity, new spiritual insight. You are being guided toward a future where you respond to life with wisdom rather than fear, with calm rather than emotional overload. And for the first time in a long time, you may begin to feel something you almost forgot how to feel. You may begin to feel free. Blessing 2. The return of spiritual vision. Sometimes, Pisces, your intuition dims not because you are losing your gift, but because the world becomes too loud and the soul becomes too tired to translate its own truth. Yet God never removes what is sacred to you. He only restores it at the perfect time, and that time is now. This blessing brings back the spiritual sight that has always been your compass. It begins like a whisper in the back of your mind, a gentle awakening that reminds you of what you have always known. You start noticing signs again, the subtle ones that seem random to others but speak volumes to your spirit. This restoration of vision is not only about intuition. It is about perceiving life with clarity, seeing beyond illusions, and understanding the deeper meaning behind every experience. You may feel an increase in dreams, vivid and symbolic, as if your soul is communicating to you in a language older than time. You may feel your awareness expanding, guiding you toward choices that align with your higher purpose. And you may even feel a renewed sensitivity, not as a burden, but as a divine tool. Pisces, your vision is not meant to be ordinary. It is meant to reach beyond the surface and touch what others overlook. This blessing also brings the strength to trust what you see, not with your eyes, but with your spirit. You begin to understand that your intuition is not a feeling you should doubt. It is a message you were chosen to carry. God is amplifying your inner guidance so that you walk forward with confidence instead of confusion. Moments that once required overthinking will now unfold with natural clarity. Decisions that once overwhelmed you will now feel guided, almost effortless. This is the return of your spiritual sight, sharpened, strengthened, and ready to lead you into your next chapter. Blessing 3. Divine protection over your path. Pisces, your heart has always been wide open, and that is both your most beautiful gift and your greatest vulnerability. You let people in without building walls. You trust without hesitation. You care without calculating the cost. And while this makes you extraordinary, it also exposes you to energies that do not always have your best interest at heart. This blessing arrives as a sacred shield. God is placing a circle of light around you, a spiritual protection that prevents what is harmful from reaching your inner world. It is not a barrier of fear, it is a blessing of safety. You might notice people who once drained you beginning to fade from your life, not through conflict, but through divine separation. You may sense a sudden shift in your environment, as if the atmosphere around you becomes clearer, lighter, and more peaceful. This is not imagination, it is protection. God is removing what blocks your peace and replacing it with people and situations that honor your spirit. Even the unseen is being rearranged. Doors that would have led to disappointment are closing quietly, and opportunities that lead to growth are opening without you having to force them. Protection does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it comes in the form of intuition, telling you to avoid certain conversations. Sometimes it comes as a calm refusal inside your chest that says, "This is not for me." And sometimes it comes simply as a sudden clarity that pulls you away from what is not aligned with your destiny. This blessing ensures that your spirit remains safe, guided, and supported. You are walking under divine supervision now, and nothing meant for your harm will have permission to come close. Blessing 4. Healing of the heart center. Pisces, your heart has carried more than most people could ever understand. You feel deeply, you love deeply, and you mourn deeply when you lose something or someone who mattered to you. Your compassion is a powerful gift, but it has left marks that sometimes ache in silence. This blessing arrives like warm light on a wound that has waited too long to be acknowledged. God is healing your heart center, and this healing is not temporary. It is thorough, gentle, and transformative. It is a restoration of the parts of you that have been tired, bruised, or forgotten. You may notice memories resurfacing, not to hurt you, but to finally release their hold. You may feel emotions rising that you once buried because you did not know how to face them. And you may even feel a quiet softness filling the spaces that once felt empty. That is healing. It is not dramatic, it is not loud, it is a gradual return to wholeness. You begin to understand that not every loss was a punishment. Some were redirections, some were protection, some were lessons preparing you for the strength you carry now. As this blessing unfolds, your capacity to love becomes wiser. You no longer confuse the act of giving with the act of losing yourself. You begin to love with boundaries, love with clarity, love with the awareness that your heart is a sacred place. The cracks that once held pain are now being filled with divine understanding. You are not the same person you were before this healing. You are someone stronger, someone softer, someone closer to the truth of your own worth. This is the blessing that turns old heartache into spiritual strength. Blessing 5. A breakthrough in your destiny path. Pisces, there comes a moment in every spiritual journey when the waiting ends and the unfolding begins. You may have felt for a long time that your purpose was close but not fully revealed, almost like a distant light you could sense but not quite touch. This blessing is the moment when that light finally reaches you. God is opening a door that has been closed for what feels like ages, a door connected to your destiny, your calling, your soul's original promise. And the most powerful part is that you do not need to push or force your way through it. It opens gently, effortlessly, as if it recognizes your name. You might notice changes happening faster than you expected. Ideas that once felt confusing suddenly make sense. Opportunities that were once out of reach now stand within your grasp. This breakthrough is not random. It is the direct result of every moment you stayed true to your heart, even when life became uncertain. God has been aligning your steps in the background, preparing circumstances and connections that lead you toward your next level of growth. You may even begin to feel a new confidence rising inside you, a sense of readiness that you cannot fully explain but deeply understand. This blessing brings clarity, direction, and spiritual momentum. It becomes easier to discern what is meant for you and what is not. You begin to feel guided, supported, and positioned, rather than lost or uncertain. Your destiny path is revealing itself piece by piece, and with every step you take, the road ahead becomes brighter. This breakthrough is the beginning of a chapter where your gifts are recognized, your efforts are rewarded, and your spirit finally feels aligned with the future it has been dreaming of. Blessing 6. The strength of emotional independence. Pisces, your heart is vast, almost oceanic. It has always been easy for you to merge with the feelings of others, to carry their emotions, to make their pain your own without even realizing it. But God is giving you a blessing that changes everything. This blessing is the strength of emotional independence, the ability to stay open without becoming overwhelmed, to care without losing yourself, to love without sacrificing your inner peace. You are learning the art of standing strong within your spirit, while still holding compassion in your hands. You may begin to feel less reactive to the emotional storms around you. Where you once absorbed everything, now you observe with calm and clarity. Where you once felt responsible for the feelings of others, now you understand that their healing does not depend on your self-sacrifice. You are discovering that emotional independence does not mean being distant. It means being rooted. It means knowing who you are so deeply that no external chaos can pull you away from your center. As this blessing strengthens within you, your relationships shift in meaningful ways. You begin to attract people who respect your boundaries instead of crossing them. You begin to choose connections that offer balance instead of draining your energy. Most importantly, you start to trust yourself in a new way. You trust your intuition. You trust your decisions. You trust your emotional truth. This is the blessing that teaches you to protect your inner world without closing your heart, allowing you to move through life with wisdom, stability, and a renewed sense of inner power. Blessing 7. A soul-aligned relationship. Pisces, love has never been a simple experience for you. You do not love halfway. You love fully. You do not seek surface-level connection. You seek soul-level understanding. And because your heart is so deep, you have often been paired with people who could not meet you at that depth. But God is bringing a blessing that changes the energy of your relationships completely. This blessing is the arrival of a soul-aligned connection, someone who resonates with your spirit rather than just your presence. This person may enter your life through calm circumstances rather than chaos. Their energy feels familiar, comforting, almost ancient, as if your souls have spoken long before your voices ever meet. This relationship is not about fantasy. It is about harmony. It is about emotional safety. It is about spiritual compatibility. You will feel seen instead of misinterpreted, valued instead of overlooked, and understood instead of questioned. It may feel like discovering a home you did not know you missed. And this blessing is not limited to romance. It may come as a friend, a mentor, a spiritual companion, or someone who simply holds space for you in a way that feels healing. What matters is the alignment. This connection strengthens you, nurtures you, and supports your growth. It does not demand that you shrink to be loved. It encourages you to expand. It honors your intuitive nature and celebrates your emotional depth. This soul-aligned relationship is a gift that brings balance, harmony, and a sense of belonging that your heart has long deserved. Blessing 8. A creative awakening. Pisces, your creativity has always been more than talent. It is a language, a form of prayer, a bridge between your spirit and the physical world. You do not create because you want attention. You create because your soul needs to speak. This blessing arrives as a spark that becomes a fire, lighting up the parts of your mind and heart that have been waiting for renewal. Ideas flow more freely. Inspiration gathers around you like a familiar friend. And suddenly, the things that once felt blocked begin to open as if they were never closed at all. You may find yourself waking up with a sense of purpose, driven by visions that feel divinely guided. You may notice your imagination sharpening, your inner world expanding, your creative impulses returning with strength. This blessing revives gifts that may have been quiet for a long time. Whether you express yourself through art, words, music, healing, or intuitive insight, God is breathing life into your creative essence again. It is not about achieving perfection. It is about expressing truth, and the truth within you is ready to rise. This awakening is also meant to align you with opportunities that match your purpose. You might attract people who appreciate your ideas, environments that support your growth, or projects that reveal the power of your creativity. It is a season where your imagination becomes one of your greatest strengths, guiding you toward a future built from authenticity rather than fear. Your creativity is not just returning, it is evolving into something deeper, wiser, and more influential than before. Blessing 9. A release from karmic cycles. Pisces, you have carried certain patterns for a very long time, some from your past, some from your childhood, and some from energies that felt older than your own memories. These cycles taught you strength, compassion, and resilience, but they also brought exhaustion, confusion, and emotional repetition. This blessing arrives as a powerful release, the moment when God says the lesson has been learned, the cycle is complete, and the weight you have been carrying no longer belongs to you. You may notice that situations you once repeated now feel different. You react differently. You understand differently. You choose differently. This is not accidental. It is the sign that a karmic door has closed behind you. Relationships that once drained your spirit begin to lose their hold. Habits that once felt impossible to break no longer feel necessary. Emotional triggers that once controlled you now dissolve with compassion instead of pain. This blessing frees you from the invisible loops that kept you stuck. It removes the emotional heaviness you believed you were responsible for carrying. You begin to step into a new identity, one that is defined by wisdom instead of wounds. This release is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your liberation. You are no longer tied to what once limited your growth. You are entering a timeline where your choices come from clarity rather than survival. God is placing you on a path where your past no longer determines your future. Blessing 10. A divine rebirth of the soul. Pisces, this final blessing is the culmination of every shift, every healing, every revelation that has led you to this moment. It is the blessing of rebirth, a complete renewal of your inner world. It feels like stepping out of a long night and seeing morning light for the first time in what feels like years. The parts of you that once felt broken now feel restored. The parts of you that once felt lost now feel guided. The parts of you that once felt small now rise with spiritual authority. This rebirth does not happen all at once. It begins softly, like the quiet settling of peace in your chest. You may notice a sense of hope returning, not shallow hope, but a deep and steady belief that your life is shifting in a divine direction. You may feel stronger in your decisions, clearer in your desires, and more grounded in your identity. God is elevating your spirit, preparing you for a season where your authenticity becomes your greatest source of power. This blessing brings a new version of you forward, one that carries wisdom instead of fear, confidence instead of doubt, and faith instead of uncertainty. You are rising into a life that reflects who you truly are, not who pain tried to shape you into. A divine rebirth means the past no longer defines you. It means your future opens with grace instead of resistance. It means your soul is stepping into alignment with the destiny that has been waiting patiently for you to arrive. Pisces, as we reach the end of this journey together, take a moment to breathe and truly feel the magnitude of everything that has been revealed. You have walked through blessings that touched your heart, your spirit, your destiny, and the very essence of who you are. And now, you stand at the threshold of something extraordinary, something sacred, something that has been waiting for you with unwavering patience. This reflection is not just a summary. It is an invitation to recognize how far you have come and how much you have grown, even in the moments when you thought you were standing still. There is a deep truth that echoes through every blessing you heard. God has not only seen your struggles, He has honored your resilience. He has watched you give love when you felt empty. He has watched you hold faith when everything around you felt uncertain. He has watched you rise again and again, even after life left you breathless. You may have thought you were simply surviving, but spiritually, you were being shaped into someone stronger, wiser, and infinitely more aligned with the person you were born to become. Consider how your path has transformed. You have emotional clarity where there was once confusion. You have purpose where there was once hesitation. You have spiritual protection where there was once vulnerability. You have heart healing where there was once sorrow. You have a destiny breakthrough where there was once stagnation. You have emotional independence where there was once overwhelm. You have soul-aligned love where there was once loneliness. You have creative awakening where there was once silence. You have karmic release where there was once repetition. And ultimately, you have experienced a divine rebirth where there was once only endurance. Every one of these blessings forms a circle of transformation that surrounds you now, guiding you forward with confidence and grace. Pisces, your soul has always been rare, sensitive in ways that the world sometimes fails to understand, but powerful in ways that the world desperately needs. You are the dreamer who sees beyond the surface, the healer who feels beyond the visible, the old soul who carries wisdom that cannot be learned from books. You bring softness into harsh spaces, imagination into empty moments, and compassion into places that have forgotten what compassion looks like. Your spirit has value that cannot be measured, and this moment is a reminder of just how essential you are to the world around you. As you step forward from this message, remember this truth: you do not walk alone. Every blessing spoken into your life is anchored in divine intention. The road ahead may still hold challenges, because growth never arrives without lessons. But now you face those lessons with renewed strength and a deeper understanding of who you truly are. You carry the light of intuition, the depth of emotion, the clarity of purpose, and the quiet authority of a soul that has survived storms and still chooses love. You are not just ready for the next chapter. You are destined for it. So let this final moment be a declaration of your spirit. You are rising. You are awakening. You are stepping into alignment with the life that was written for you long before you ever took your first breath. Your authenticity is your power. Your sensitivity is your compass. Your faith is your anchor. Your rebirth is your beginning. And as you continue forward, trust that everything ahead of you is brighter than anything behind you. Thank you for allowing your spirit to be part of this journey. If this message touched your heart and awakened something deep within you, I invite you to stay connected, to keep exploring, and to continue nurturing the light inside you. And before you go, make sure to watch the other videos on this channel, because your transformation has only just begun, and there is so much more waiting for you.